From the time she was kicked off a plane to being caught red-handed using drugs, here are Sha'Carri Richardson's most embarrassing moments, starting with the time she was removed from an airplane. Sha'Carri is no stranger to controversy, as you'll see in this video, but this one incident just tops the list. In an extremely embarrassing moment for the runner, she was removed from an American Airlines plane after a heated argument with a flight attendant. Look, Sha'Carri, I get it. These flight attendants, they tend to get a tad bit too annoying at times, but you have a whole brand image to maintain, so maybe calm down a little bit. Also, you need to realize that this was her fault. She was on a phone call, which you shouldn't be using your phone once the plane starts to take off, and the flight attendant told her to cut the call. Apparently, she didn't like his tone, and well, she threw a fit. According to her, the flight attendant asked her to show him her phone, which she did, and yet he was rude about it. As things got heated, she started recording the whole thing and was told that that was something she couldn't do. At that moment, she had had enough and stated, "You're harassing me at this point, so I think you should stop." Now, here's where it starts to get real embarrassing. In the video, you can clearly tell that all the other passengers are fed up with her and want her to stop. To which she responds, "Y'all see him, right? Y'all see him, right? Do not yell at me." The flight attendant continues to ask her to stop, yet she doesn't listen, making a complete fool of herself. Richardson manages to post that video to Instagram, and after that, she's asked to leave the plane. According to her, it's not what he said, but rather it's how he said it. She claims that he was being extremely unprofessional and that his hands were all in her face. Yikes, that's pretty bad, right? Well, wait till you hear this. Another passenger starts blaming her because he's gonna miss his connecting flight because of the athlete. Now Sha'Carri has had it and asks him why he's worried about a connection when there's a grown-ass man disrespecting her. Respectfully, the guy replies, "I don't give a shit. Seriously, Sha'Carri, that weed stuff was bad, but this one's all on you." And just when you think things can't get worse, they do. So here's the thing. The reason why she's being asked to leave is obvious. She's making a fool of herself. Yet she doesn't get it. So the captain of the plane has to step in. He wants her off his flight, but even then she refuses to leave, stating that the captain doesn't know the entire situation. She proceeds to ask the captain if the flight attendant who was rude to her will be removed from the plane. Well, he's of course not being removed. Why would he? The guy was just doing his freaking job. This surely can't get any worse than it already is, right? Like she's been humiliated again and again. What more could happen? Well, here's the thing. When she's removed, there's literally no one that's on her side. In fact, everyone starts cheering and clapping as she leaves the plane. Man, if I was her, I'd never travel again. Because that's by far one of the most embarrassing things to ever happen. But hey, it's Sha'Carri. So she's had a lot more embarrassing moments. Like the time she couldn't even reach the top 3 in a race. Now here's the thing about Sha'Carri. She's conceited. She thinks she's the best of the best. So you can imagine just how embarrassing the entire thing was for her. When at the Prefontaine Classic, she just couldn't win. And it's not that she did win, it's the very fact that she had a devastating loss. I mean, she's dead last. You could clearly tell the crowd was done with her, and you could clearly see that she was embarrassed as heck. Now, before you start feeling bad for her and all that, just remember, this is the same person who liked a horrible tweet. Embarrassing moments and Sha'Carri Richardson are a match made in heaven. There's nothing you could do to separate the two. At this point, you're wondering, well, she just liked a tweet. It can't be that bad. Well, buckle up. It's bad. It's real bad. So she lost a race, and there was a tweet that belittled the winners of that race, and she liked it. The tweet stated, "Not y'all Jamaicans still taking shit when y'all gotta walk barefoot to your coconut stand every day for a living." See, this person's always in the news. Always. Yet she only has 2.2 million followers on Instagram. Now you know why. She's embarrassing, she's bigoted, and she needs someone to keep an eye on her online activity. Interestingly though, she's also wrong. A lot. I'll give you one instance. She's out there on Twitter bashing the USA Track and Field Association, because why not? In her accusatory tweet, she mentions that someone at the nonprofit is making $1.3 million. Except that's not true at all. That figure's far, far off at $3.8 million. So maybe, just maybe, fact check please? It's not just Twitter where she's found with her foot in her mouth though. She messes it up on Instagram too. Right, imagine someone says something nice about you. If you're not Sha'Carri, you're gonna thank them, right? But if you are Sha'Carri, you're probably gonna take a dig at them, because that's exactly what she did too. So Allison Felix, another athlete, goes on to Jimmy Kimmel and talks about Sha'Carri. Now, she only says the nicest of things, really. She talks about how her mother passed away and how she needs support. Felix also mentions that Richardson has brought a lot of attention to the sport, which has been really helpful. But Sha'Carri apparently didn't appreciate the sentiment. Shamefully disregarding her colleague's words, she posted a story on Instagram, talking about how encouraging words on TV aren't real. Yikes! Get a grip, Sha'Carri, you're only embarrassing yourself here. Cause it's not just Allison, she annoyed Usain Bolt too. You see, Sha'Carri doesn't have the best record when it comes to her actions. So Usain Bolt told her to train harder and focus on what matters, running. He's right, you know. But what does she decide to do? She decides to call him out, stating that no one ever really asked for his advice. Well, not only did you manage to anger Usain, but you managed to piss off his fan base too. But none of these moments even compare to the one we're going to talk about now, the time she got suspended by the USADA. Now here's the thing, Sha'Carri tested positive for THC in 2021. She was suspended and of course was made to sit through a counseling session regarding the use of cannabis. Well, she only did that because this would have made her 3-month suspension shorter, because taking the course meant she was suspended for just a month. Sha'Carri stated that she takes full responsibility for her actions and that she's not looking for an excuse. She also mentioned how when she's on the track, she doesn't just represent herself, but a community that's always supported her. Talking about the entire thing, she tweeted, "Don't judge me because I'm human." She also mentioned how she's just like the rest of us. The only difference is she can run faster. You see, this is one of those times when people actually stood by her, because the Drug Policy Alliance has taken notice of the whole thing. The director of the alliance has stated that drug testing is another tool of FAR and it's failed. She also mentioned that it has a major impact on our lives now, and it's something that needs to be stopped. You see, here's the thing. Her using cannabis, while embarrassing for someone who people look up to, didn't give her any performance-enhancing powers. So it really shouldn't have impacted her ability to run on the track, because millions of people around the world use cannabis for its therapeutic benefits. So it makes no sense to penalize her for that. And honestly, all the publicity this issue got from her suspension might actually mean that drug testing is going to be abolished. Richardson herself was completely unapologetic about the entire thing. She stated that this will be the last time we don't see her in the Olympics. She also claimed that this will be the last time the United States doesn't come home with a gold medal in the 100-meter sprint. And she's right, because she's just 23 right now, with the next Olympics just a couple of years away. In other words, she's got plenty of time and games to compete in. At the same time, though, she's an athlete who knew she was going to be competing in the Olympics. There's no way she didn't know what she was doing was illegal. So, from the time where she was caught using drugs red-handed, to the time she was kicked off a plane for making passengers incredibly uncomfortable, these were Sha'Carri Richardson's most embarrassing moments.